Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Bean. Welcome to my channel, and today bringing you guys my first ever tier list for the month of June, I guess, because yeah, this will be for I'll do these at the very beginning of every month, so this will be for June, and the next month will be July. However, if this video doesn't do well, or you guys don't really seem to like this, then I probably won't do one again, or who knows. I'll see how it gets, how it receives, or how well it's received, but yeah. First tier list, hopefully it goes well. I did think, or it would probably be a better idea for me to make one beforehand, like I just did right now, and set it all up, instead of you guys just sitting there and having to watch me put them all in their place. But I will go over why they're in where they're at, with their tiers on the left side, explain why I think that is. But yeah, this is mostly a PvP. It's a bit more geared towards PvP. However, I also did take into consideration their PvE viability as well. So yeah, the units, I'm pretty sure they're where they're supposed to be at, in general. That is, for the general opinions. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. But before we get started as to why all these characters are placed where they're at, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Currently on the road to 700 subs now. Time of recording this, we're at 648 subscribers. Let's see if we can try to hit 700 by the end of June. That's yeah, about a whole month. We haven't entered June yet. Let's see if we can try to hit that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Post here pretty much daily. Brand new video every single day. Want to keep up with anything Grand Cross related, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you enjoyed today's video, considering leaving a like, I really appreciate it. But enough of me rambling on. Let's just get right into it. So I guess, okay, so we are finally getting to the big boys. That's really damn good. Alright, these will go into more explanation, or more in detail. Jerry. Alright, Belmoth had just released, and he is an absolute monster for, or she, I mean, absolute monster for Belmoth, absolutely destroys. And she also has the type advantage on him, and also like the more damage, because she's like the best character for him, because if you use Jerry, you do more damage, and I believe you take less damage, one of those two, but she's a beast. That's why she's the #1 character for Belmoth. However, if you have Zartros, he is honestly, in my opinion, better than Jerry. That is because he basically insta claps his Belmoth round 2 or phase 2, or his phase 2 and his phase 3, no problem. Even more damage than Jerry. Helbram, he's a really damn good, because not only is he useful for Knighthood boss with his buff, but he's also now super useful for Belmoth as well, because he takes away stances on his ults. And he also has that level 3 buff card, and you use both of those, the takeaway stance and the level 3 buff card, on the new Belmoth raid to instantly just cruise through the fight. So that's why he's up here. Liz, she is actually now a very good character to have if you have her and build her out. She is very useful for the Belmoth raid. If you pair her up with Green Gother, then you can get a free level 2 rank up. Then you can just bounce and get level 3 cards if your teammate's using another Gother for your turn 3 or turn 3, or whenever you want to use them. So she is super good, and she also now, you can actually do damage with her, because back then she was only useful for like Grey Demon, but even you couldn't even use her attack cards, because they wouldn't hit, because the Grey Demon avoids physical attacks, and she has all physical. But now this new demon for Belmoth, you can only do physical damage and not ranged attacks, so she is perfect for that. Festival King, he's still very good, and Green Hendy, this combo is a deadly combo still, if you can pull it off. But also, this team works very well for farming anvils. If you use the King team strat, you can farm at least 1,000 anvils on average per hour per key. So there's that. Green Demon Melee, he's very good, insanely good. He is pretty good for the Belmoth raid if you have him, but not many people have him or built out fully, so that's why. But he still does insane damage even for PvP and PvE. Green Liz, she is a pretty good character. Not only does she heal, but her passive starts her off with 2 gauges, and then that means you can rush her ult quicker, and then when you ult with her, you get 2 gauges on all your allies, so that's basically easier way to ult rush. Red Zelgis, he's a fantastic character. However, he has really dropped off, because not really dropped off, but he's mostly a backline unit. You don't see him in the front, so his passive's still there, and he's very good for PvE and PvP as well. Blue Lilia, Pierce rate team, not only for pierce rate, but if you want extra pierce, she's there. She also has gauge control. And yeah, she's still very good. However, she's not really used right now because pierce is not in meta. Alwyn Roxy, she is really good for PvE and PvP. PvP, oh, just as long as you're on the full human team, she does insane damage, guaranteed. So that's very good for PvP and PvE as well. Green Escanor, although he's very old, he is still good. Don't get me wrong. Please don't vote him in on the Purgatory Bond banner though on Global. We don't need him that bad. If you don't have him, you could easily get by with the characters in the game, but he's nice to have. He's still decent DPS. His ult is one of the strongest single target hitting ults in the game. And his passive of not being able to be like buffed or debuffed at full gauge is pretty nice. And besides that, he's also decent DPS if you don't have Jerry or Zaratros right here for the new Belmoth raid. So I guess there's that. Green Shin, he's one of the best farming unit teams, or best farming units. So there's that. And he's pretty good at PvP as well because of his rank up. So if you use 3 cards of him, he ranks up your entire hand for free. Blue Easton, she is very good for not only PvP teams with her buff card and her passive, but also transitions into Knighthood Boss, where she is used very often because of her level 3 buff card. Mark II Valenti, she is mostly a PvP unit because she's an absolute monster, but you can make her work in PvE and do insane amounts of damage. Zeldris, unfortunately, he's still really good. Oh, really damn good, but he doesn't do as much damage. I mean, he still does damage, but with the current meta, you need to build up his passive, preferably on the crit team with like Green Gother and Ludo, but by the time that happens, you're probably dead. But if you can pull him off, he still does the same damage. Green Dairy, fantastic character, making it so the enemy can't ult rush in PvP, and that's super toxic. Pretty good. She has a single target drain. She also has an AoE like style Ikimas version of Green Escanor card, where she gains gauges depending on the rank. Blue Demon Melee, although he's very old as well, he's still a very good character, not only for PvP and PvE as well. More PvE right now, because I believe they gave out like a free copy of him level 80 on the Homecoming banner, and if you had that, you can easily steamroll past all the story content. So there's that. Arthur, he's actually like Dark Horse, one of the Dark Horses here, because he is very good for PvE. He's not even good for PvP, but that's how good he is, and that's why he's in the really damn good part. Because his passive, he basically makes it so you do more damage on PvE content and you take less damage. So there's that. Death Pierce, he is very good for any content, really, PvP or PvE, because of his passive decreasing the defense stats of the enemies by, I believe, like 25%, something like that. So yeah, it's insane. Rugal, he's a monster. His passive, basically, if he drops below 50% health, then he buffs all of his stats, I believe, by like 15%, every single stat, which is insane. Blue Skinny King, he's still very good. It's just that the current meta doesn't really... He used to be useful when like ult rush was a thing, but not anymore. But he's still very good. You can still use him for Red Demon if you want, and for most PvE content. And his cleanse is very nice. Heal at level 2 and up as well for rank his heal card. Petrify, which is annoying, one of a pretty hard hitting ults. The Shadow Ultimate. Kyo, Athena, so KOF collabs. 3 KOF collab characters for the S tier. Kyo, an absolute monster, still. With his ignites, however, he does really get countered by the one. Not only is the one blue, and the one gets debuff immunity, so the one can just insta clap you, and you won't have the damage reduction. But if you're not facing against the one or a cleanser, then Kyo is very good. Athena, she's mostly a backline unit, but her passive is very good for PvP and PvE because it drains ultimate 2 gauges every time you finish off an enemy. So that's very nice. Red Glocks, he's really underrated in my opinion. He is very good, especially on the Assault Melee team actually. So, and his commandment is very annoying for both as well, PvE and PvP content. And new unit, Festival Zeldris. Unfortunately, he's still really damn good, as you see here from S tier. However, I wish he would be higher, but he just doesn't really have what it takes to be up there. As you can see, you can see a sneak peek of some other unit that is way better than him. But yeah, he's still very good. His passive can work for both contents, PvE and PvP. Wonder how many times I've said that today. But yeah, that's why Zeldris is here. And green SR Guild Thunder. So I think he's the highest SR on the list. Yeah, and that's because increasing your defense rate stats, I believe, by like 15 to 20% or something like that. That's insane. And he's probably, and you run him on one of the best teams in the game, which is, if you have it, ungeared, that is. Estarossa, Green Guild Thunder, Charmio, and then Green Guild Thunder, SR Guild Thunder in the back, and that's a super good team. Probably one of the best, if not the best, ungeared team. Okay, but now we are at God tier. Way too good. So these pretty much explain themselves, but I'll give them a quick go. Lost Vein, although he is kind of old now, he's still a beast. Free rank ups with his passive, insane substats, and just regular stats in general. And his ultimate at 6/6 is a wipe. I don't care who you have on the enemy team, they're gonna get destroyed. Secret Technique, he's still an absolute monster. And he destroys any PvE content as well. Darriere, the PvE queen for damage. Just the damage queen. One of the best PvE units, like I said, for damage, but you can also make it work in PvP if you wanted to. But yeah, mostly a PvE unit, but that's why she's still up here, because she is the queen of PvE. Insane amount of damage. AMLE, I was considering to pull him up to broken tier, but I figure with the current meta right now, especially with like Amelia, which I'll get into in a second, and all the freezes, I'll put him at God tier. He still does insane damage. The only bad thing is that he would be broken tier if like his passive would work. It wasn't literally restricted by like just moving cards around. But yeah, he's still very good for any content as well. All of these units are probably useful for both PvE and PvP, so I'm not going to mention. Same thing for broken tier, so I'm going to stop saying that, because I'm pretty sure I've said it a bunch of times now. But yeah, from broken to God tier, these two, I'm not going to say that they're both good for PvP and PvE anymore. Just basically, they're both good for that. So that I won't have to keep repeating myself and saying that over and over again. But Estarossa, absolute monster. Level 3 counters. If you can get those and keep returning those off, popping those off, then it's basically a wrap for whatever console you're playing. And his commandments also, which decreases the attack rate stats of anyone that does damage, or yeah, it does damage to anyone, friend or foe, by 20%, is huge. Tarmiel, he is one of the best units in the game, probably like top 6 in my opinion. He's also an Archangel, so that's also probably why. And yeah, he is very good not only for his damage reduction, he also has gauge control, and his ultimate is basically a full heal, even at 1/6. The blue draws, and his grace is also very good, which he heals back a percentage of HP back depending on the total HP or defense that he has. Double draws, I need to say more. Blue draw is the taunt and petrify, and the green draw is the ult control lock with his passive, and also the sealed debuff cards, or also sealed rank 2 and 3 cards, I believe. I believe it's sealed debuff cards. And he also has a pretty hard hitting detonate single target card for green draw, that is. And yeah, the commandments as well, which gives you resistance every time someone takes damage, limit 3 stacks each, is pretty good. Green Deanne, fantastic character. Not only is she a good counter to the 1 with her taunt, because basically you can't crit her. She's very good. Not mostly for her taunt, but she has a decent attack as well. If you pair that up with Green Gunther as well, she can also do decent damage. But yeah, mostly for her taunt card, making her super tanky so you can survive longer. Oh, so this basically plays into why also Blue Dairy is here. She is a good taunt unit as well. Probably the best unit to run on the AMLE team, with AMLE and then Blue Droll and then Blue SSR Dairy, and then Red Zeldris in the back for his passive. But yeah, fantastic character. Not only does she have the same taunt card, she has the same taunt card as Blue Deanne. She also has a single target card which removes buffs on rank 1 even, which is insane. And her passive is also very nice as well. Red Melascula, she is very good on the AMLE team as well, but for like content like Tower and stuff like that, she is a must for some parts, because she makes it completely almost a cheat code with her passive, the zombie passive, which makes it so if any one of your allies goes down, they will stay alive with 1 HP for 3 turns, regardless how much damage they take. As long as your Melaska doesn't die, that is, which is insane. Green Merlin, although no one really uses her anymore, she's still very good. Not only does she have gauge control, she also has her shield. But most of the reason why she's still good is her, if you can use her for ult rush, that extra gauge in the back, and ult rush might make a return with Festival Bond. And just ult rush in general, she's just very good, and she has decent CC. Festival Merlin, the little lolly. She, let me say more. She's broken. She not broken, but she's got tier. She's way too good. She does way too much damage. It's not even funny. All right. Next, collab characters. We have 11 and Jim. 11 is basically a blue Sario, so need I say more? Sario does insane damage, and 11 does insane damage. So that is that. Jim. He completely enables the collab. Well, you could still run collab teams in the past, but with him, it makes it even better because not only does he have gauge control and stun, the same stun as Liz, by the way, he also has the same passive, which if you run a full collab team, it'll benefit from it because his passive direct hits. He applies the direct hit debuff randomly to 2 enemies at the start of each turn, and if you hit someone that has that debuff, not only do they take 40% extra damage, they also get a poison debuff at the end of it, depending on the damage done, which is insane. It's just crazy. Okay, but now we're going to the ReZero waifus. Why they're so good? Let's start off with my girl Amelia. She is one of the most toxic characters in the game. It's not even up for debate. Not only does she have a freeze card, she also has pumpkin bombs from Gilther, so you can control gauge. And her passive is absolutely toxic. It's one of the most toxic ones around. If you hit her twice with the same character on your turn, you get frozen for 2 turns. So there's that. And her ultimate, by the way, did I mention? I forgot to mention. Basically the same ultimate as this guy right here. Lost Vein Meliodas. If you have her 6/6, it's a wipe. I don't care who you're running. Secret technique. If you have like 1 or 2 cards as well, that's just bonus. And yeah, it's a complete wipe. Rem. Probably one of the best, no, she is the best DPS collab character and probably one of the best DPS units general, period. She's so good. Her, not only is her AoE do insane damage as well, her effect, which completely screws over all the effects from ultimate move damage as well decreases ultimate move damage, is insane. Her single target amplify card is very nice paired up with her passive, which every time she basically moves or uses a card or gains gauge, she buffs herself by 5% attack rate stats up to 5 times. Pair that up with amplify card and it's a wrap. You one-shot anyone, especially if you have like a level 3 with a few buffs on her, then yeah, it's a wrap. Rem and then Ram. Okay. Ram though, twin sister, red hair. Ram is just good on her own right, mostly for her passive. Her passive is what's putting her up here all the way to God tier. And her passive makes it so she increases the unknown basic stats of all your allies by 20%, which is huge. And you want to know who's unknown? That's in like up here in these tiers? We have Amelia, unknown. Rem, unknown. Herself. Lolly Merlin, Festival Merlin. And that's the team right there that everyone uses. Amelia, Ram, well, Ram in the back. Festival Merlin. And then Goddess Liz, but we'll get into her in a second. So yeah, if you run that team, popular team, 3 out of 4 units are getting buffed, which is huge. The boy Chandler, need I say more? One of the best units in the game right now. Not only for his passive, which makes it so if any enemy attacks you or uses skill basically on their turn, before they even like the attack or skill lands, they decrease all of their stats by 7%. Lemon 3 times, it is stackable. The buff or the debuff only lasts for 1 turn though. But yeah, he's insane. Counter card, broken. Is a single target turn off basically any effect, skill, and ultimate move, broken. And his ultimate is very hard hitting as well. But okay, we are now at the broken section, which is, you could probably see a pattern. Have you ever heard of the Glue Eater? I'm pretty sure you must have, or maybe you faced a few before. But as you can see here, the first 3 units are basically standard textbook Glue Eater. The one Green Gother and Goddess Liz, and usually you have like Lost Wind in the back. But yeah, there's basically Glue Eater, and that's why they're the best units in the game. Red Gother, and Sariel. But okay, for me, Green Gother is probably the best unit in the game overall for any content, really. And not only because his passive is basically the biggest part, but his other kit as well. Basically, his passive, if you don't know, uh, increase your attack rate stats by 7% for 5 turns. So that is a, what is that? A 35% increase to your attack rate stats maximum. And the only thing you need to have to proc this is you need to have different races on your entire team. And if you have that, then you're golden. You get the massive boost to your attack rate stats, and after turn 5, you're fully maxed out passive. You're going to be hitting like a truck. He also has Pumpkin Bomb, so you can control ults. And not only that, but he also has rank ups, dude. Rank ups are so good. And his ultimate is the same as the other Gother's ultimates. Take away Gauge, and that's fantastic in its own right. The one, need I say more? The pinnacle of all races, as he claimed himself. He's just too good. Especially if you run him on the crit team or with a Green Gother and Goddess Liz, the glue leader, then he's basically almost unstoppable. His flood card does too much damage. His other single target card does too much damage. His ultimate with the death damage is insane. At 6/6, it one-shots anyone twice or kills 2 units twice, depending if they're using Goddess Liz or not. And his passive isn't broken, increasing his all of his stats by 6% for basically forever, because he goes up. Like, he buffs himself 3 times, and at turn 3 he gets debuff immunity, and he also total increase of 18% to all of his stats, but then it goes back down. So it goes 1, 2, 3, max buffs, 3 buffs of his passive, and then goes down 2, 1, and then just scales back up and down until the match ends. But yeah, it's absolutely insane passive. Pair that up with Gother, and then it's a wrap. Oh, okay. As much as it pains me to have her up here, I can't lie to myself. She is broken. She is probably top 3 units in the game. That's how good Goddess Liz is. Although if you've been watching me for a while or seen any of my videos, and when I face a Glue Eater, I let it be known how frustrated I am that I keep facing this team. Prefer mostly Glue Eater, but Goddess Liz, man. Let me tell you why she's so annoying, but that also goes into why she's so good. First off, she has a annoying shield skill 1. Which, no, I think it's her skill 2, but whatever, you know what I mean. Her shield card. Basically, not only is it protecting them with a shield, but it also cancels out any bonus effect from cards except for Rupture. So that means if you feel like Pierce cards, it won't work. If you have, like a stun card or whatever, and you don't break the shield, it won't work. If you have like Keel's Ignite card, which does more damage with like the more ignites they have, they could have like all the ignites in the world, and you don't break the shield, they're not going to do extra damage. You're not even going to do extra damage actually, because the shield's up. So that's how annoying that shield is. And at level 3, that shield's super tanky, and it lasts for 2 turns. That's disgusting. But also, she has a stun card. And not only is it a stun card at rank 2 and 3, it's just a single target attack at rank 1, but at 2 and 3 it gives a stun effect, but it also cancels stances, man. Why did you have to give her that? Cancel stances, you can remove stances from Tarmiel, from Esterosa, any stance unit, and you can also stun them right after. It's a double whammy, and that's so annoying. And stun for 1 turn at rank 2, and stun for 2 turns at rank 3. Her ultimate is one of the best ultimates in the game. Not only is it basically a full heal, even like a 1 or 2/6, but if you have her 6/6, it's a full heal guaranteed. And she also has reflect damage, where she has a bonus onto the ults, which puts up like a mini shield or something like that, and it has reflect ability. And if you don't one-shot anyone with the reflect up, they will fully heal back and then deal reflect damage from the damage they took to you, which basically most of the time is just you kill yourself if you don't kill anyone, if you don't kill a full wipe when she has a shield up. Red Gother. Although the green one is the one that's more used, Red Gother is still a fantastic unit. Not only does he have rank ups, his attack seal is actually very nice to have for not PvP and PvE as well. And mostly for PvP, no one's really using Cleanse, so if you can pop off a level 3 attack seal, they won't be able to attack for 2 turns. And during that time, you can easily rush his ult. which means you can take away their gauge again because he has the same ult as the other Gother. As the SSR Gothers, they take away gauge, and if you have King Link, then you take away 5 gauges. And his passive is also nice to have, the red one. If he doesn't take damage for that turn, he increases all of your allies' attack stat by 10%, max 5 times. If you can get that to like 3 stacks, that's 30% extra attack, which is huge. And last but not least, we have the kid, my boy, Sariel. Insane damage. Probably the best Archangel. It's not even up for debate. The amount of damage this tiny kid produces is insane. His grace as well is completely broken. If you crit, and he basically will crit most of the time, especially on his Sever card AoE, because it has triple crit chance, so you will crit. He ignores 50% of crit defense every time he does crit. And that if you don't know what that means, he basically means when you do crit, you do much more damage, which is that's just broken. And his single target, what's it called? Power Strike card, which does more damage the more resistance someone has, is very nice to melt tank units. Like Droll, he gets absolutely melted. Deanne and Blue Dairy right here, they get absolutely melted if they put up a taunt card. It's basically wiped. And anyone who's super resist, like have high resistance base rate, like the Gothers up here, they have extremely high resistance by themselves and defense rated stats in general, so they take even more damage. And Escanor, if he has like full passive, he's also boosting his resistance since he boosts all of his stats by 6%. At max passive for Escanor, he buffs his resistance as well by 18%. So that means that's more damage from Sariel. And Sariel's ultimate, it's basically a wrap, even like at low levels. But if you have him 6/6, it has a Sever, triple crit chance, and pair that up with the insane multiplier on the ultimate at 6/6. And also his Grace, ignoring 50% crit defense, guaranteed crit, insane damage multiplier, and then you do more damage off the crit, it's a wipe. And also I forgot to mention, but Archangels, all of them, Sariel, Tarmiel, and where is he? I think I put him down here like in S. Did I put him in the A tier? Yeah, A tier. Ludo. All their graces work in this and like in the association, so you can put any of their graces on different units. So that also played a factor into it. That means if you have Sariel, you can put him on any of your associations, and whenever you do crit with whoever that unit, let's say you put him on Escanor. When Escanor crits, he'll have his Grace, so he'll do 50% more damage, or he'll ignore 50% of the crit defense whenever they crit. And for Tarmiel, if you have him there, you mostly see him paired up with like the Drolls or Deanne or Dairy. So when they have high defense, especially the Dairies though, if they taunt, not Dairy, Dairy and Green Small Deanne, if they taunt, they increase their defense rated stats, and Tarmiel heals back more, the more and the higher your defense stat. And these two have insanely high defense stats as is, and if they buff themselves, then they heal more. If they put up stances, that is. And Ludo, his passive or Grace is basically for 2 turns or 3 turns, I believe. He can't be petrified, stunned, or frozen, which is nice to have if you're like running Ult Rush or something. But yeah, I think that's it, honestly. I think I've covered every single list. We started from the E tier, the D, C, B, A, S, and all the way to God, and then Broken for the last one. And we have covered every single one. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Again, this was probably a bit longer than how the other ones usually go. It's just that since this is the first time I'm doing this, I had to go a bit more in depth. But whenever I do one at the beginning of every month, it'll probably only be a few extra heroes I have to add to these lists. So it'll be way quicker and not like fully drawn out explanations for all the tiers. And I believe these tiers are some of maybe like depending on like new updates or like buffs, maybe 1 or 2 characters might get changed. And then I'll also tell you guys about that. But for the most part, this list should probably stay the same for a while. But yeah, there we have it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you did, consider subscribing, leave a like, comment if you want any clarification on any of these units, or if you think something should be in somewhere else. Like if you think one of these units should be lower or higher. I'm really curious to find out what you guys think. This is all my opinion, by the way. This isn't like saying this is like the absolute tier list, like No, this is just my opinion. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. But yeah, that's been it for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.